Hi everyone, it's Jendi Burwell here. I'm the Minister in charge of Albany Greenhithe Anglican Church. It's on the North Shore of Auckland. Today it is the 2nd of January 2022, and even though it's only the 2nd of January, we are looking at the Epiphany readings, which technically doesn't happen until the 6th of January, okay? So just bear that in mind. The 12 days of Christmas go from the 25th of December through to the 5th of January, and then Epiphany happens on the 6th of January. Epiphany being what we call the end of Christmas, when the wise men turn up at Jesus, which, let's be honest, let's never worry about the literal truth getting in the way of a good story that tells of a human truth. The wise men did not get to Jesus when he was 12 days old. Probably took 18 months. He was probably a toddler by the time the wise men got there. But the literal truth doesn't really matter from the truths that we can glean still from the stories. So today we're going to hear from the gospel, and then I've got a few thoughts. The gospel is Matthew chapter 2, and it's verses 1 to 12. When Jesus was born in the village of Bethlehem in Judea, Herod was king. During this time, some wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and said, "Where is the child born to be King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east, and we have come to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was worried, and so was everyone else in Jerusalem. Herod brought together the chief priests and the teachers of the law of Moses and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" They told him, "He will be born in Bethlehem, just as the prophet wrote. Bethlehem in the land of Judea, you are very important among the towns of Judea. From your town will come a leader who will be like a shepherd for my people Israel." Herod secretly called in the wise men and asked them when they had first seen the star. He told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, let me know. I want to go and worship him too." The wise men listened to what the king said and then left. And the star they had seen in the east went on ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They were thrilled and excited to see the star. When the men went into the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother, they knelt down and worshipped him. They took out their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh and gave them to him. Later, they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, and they went back home by another road. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church, to us, to all of us today. There's a couple of things, obviously going on in here. Initially, the idea that a Messiah, the one who was going to save everyone, this idea of a Messiah was going to be a baby born, was a very unexpected thing. So a lot of people knew and believed and trusted that a Messiah was coming to rescue everyone. But no one really believed that it was going to be a baby. So there was this expectation of this Messiah, this Savior. It just, the reality of that expectation was quite different, because it turned out to be a baby, you know, born in a manger in a very nothing kind of town. And that was unexpected. And then, of course, you know, King Herod doing the, oh, please tell me where the baby is, because I too want to worship. His motives were not pure. He wanted to know where the baby was so that he could go and kill it. And as it turned out later in the story, he tried to kill every male child under the age of 2 because he wanted to kill this Messiah baby. So thankfully, these wise men were warned and they didn't return to Herod, and they went home a different way. So they had plans to go back the way they came. I dare say they traveled the way that made sense to get there. So clearly they would have wanted to go back the same way, not by a different route, which must have been worse. If it was better, they would have gone that way to start with. But they changed their plans when they needed to. When they got this unexpected message, they pivoted and they did something different. They were resilient and they adapted and did a different thing. And I think it is very intriguing and interesting that these ancient wisdom stories tell of such massive human truths that are still true, even if not literally true, but they are still true today. Our expectations are often different to the reality. We might have an expectation of a Messiah being a certain way, or an expectation that a job is going to go a certain way, or an expectation that my life is going to go a certain way. Reality is often, or pretty much all the time, different to that. And then when you have made plans to go by a certain route to where you want to be and where you're headed, often you end up having to go a different way, or your plans are changed for you and you have to adapt and make different choices. You know, we can say, look at us 2 years nearly into a global pandemic. Life changes, unexpected things happen, and we have to adapt and deal with it. But we knew that before the pandemic, and we will know it after as well. We have all had experiences where we think we know something and it turns out to be different. Or we think we've got plans and the route marked out and we're on our way to whatever it is, and things change. Or we have to make changes and we have to adapt. They did back in this era, 2000-ish years ago, and before that. And we're having to adapt and deal with stuff, deal with unexpected things, even today. We, those who follow Christ, those who believe in God in some way, those who are comfortable with the idea that there is something bigger than us that we can put our trust in, can take comfort in that. But we still have to adapt. We still have to suck it up and make changes. But we know that it's okay, because it will always be okay in the end. Even when it seems really difficult and really awful or really unexpected, in some shape or form, in some way or another, God and love and others can be with you in that. And together we can do amazing things and be amazing people. So as we think about Epiphany, or the wise men coming, let's wonder what the wise man coming and talking to us, the magi, the wise people, the wisdom of ancients, what lessons may we need to learn in 2022? What routes and paths and ways forward might we need to adapt and change and do something different? Whatever unexpected changes to your plans that happen, I really hope that you have the love of God and the love of other people with you and around you. God bless, take care, be kind and considerate to other people and to yourself. Until next time, see ya.